What if Kendrick Lamar and pgLang are about to be dropping another brand new artist? So I'm sure you've seen by now that pgLang just debuted a brand new R&B artist named Imani Imani with her debut album Paper Cuts. If you haven't yet, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's a fire project, great for the summer. Now, I'm sure you've probably also seen that Jay-Z is back outside. So I was watching Jason's video about Jay-Z and the Knicks, about how big of a deal it would be for a big New York album right now. Shout out Jason, I'll link this video in the description. But it really got me thinking about how New York doesn't really have any big young mainstream acts right now that are dropping highly anticipated albums. Besides the legacy acts, there really aren't any young, heavy hitting artists out of New York that would really shake shit up if they announced an album. So what that got me thinking about is, I think that there's clearly a gap that can be filled there. Now, let's think about what pgLang is doing. What did they just do? Well, they shadow dropped a brand new artist with an entire album out of nowhere. Right? There's no rollout, no promo. It's a brand new artist with an entire album. Like when people were learning about who Imani Imani is, her album is ready for you to listen to it. Now, I think when a lot of people think about a label owned by a West Coast artist, especially someone like Kendrick, who has really kind of put the West back in front of everything, obviously over the last couple of years, putting out GNX, obviously like Baby Keem also being from Vegas out in the West Coast. I think people naturally may expect their signees to be from the same region, at least initially. But what did they just do? They signed an R&B act from the Netherlands. Right? So they've shown it doesn't really matter to them where the artist is from. And what we also learned is that Imani has been signed to pgLang since 2024. So what that shows is that they're willing to invest time and effort into artist development, and they won't debut an artist to the world until they feel they're ready. So that's important context of the theory. But now that that's out of the way, let's get back to New York. So, like we established earlier, the younger generation in New York doesn't really have someone who is clearly the guy, and there's a gap that can be filled. Now, pgLang also just showed us that they slow cooked a brand new artist for the past 2 to 3 years under wraps that nobody knew anything about until her debut album was out and released. So, what if pgLang has another brand new artist waiting in the wings? And what if it's a New York rapper with a traditional New York sound? So, now let's take a look at the pgLang mood board. So, for anyone out there who may be unfamiliar with a mood board or have never seen one before, it's basically just like a bunch of abstract images, inspiration, things that artists and creatives use, to draw certain aesthetics, certain inspiration, and really kind of like get like visually match their ideas, to help inspire them. So this was posted in October of 2023. Now, one thing I noticed is if you take a look at the names in this black cursive handwriting style. So this first one I'm gonna zoom into is Dizzlemania. So Dizzle is one of Kendrick's nicknames. Macwop, if you're unfamiliar, is someone in Kendrick's camp affiliated with TDE. He's got a YouTube channel, does live streams. Check him out if you haven't looked into him before. But he's a close friend with Kendrick, and he's affiliated with him. And Macwop has referred to Kendrick as Dizzle. So this again was posted in October of 2023. So this was well before the beef. So Dizzlemania sounds like it's him winning the beef, doing the pop out, dropping GNX, doing the Super Bowl, record breaking tour, 10 Grammys in the last 2 years. And this is kind of forecasting, kind of like manifesting. This was a piece of their plan. Now, if we scroll down here a little bit, we'll now see Booman Erie. So we've also learned that Booman is one of Baby Keem's nicknames. If you watch the Casino documentaries, you obviously have heard him referred to as Booman several times. He, references that multiple times throughout the Casino album. But then also there was a scene in the Casino documentary that said pgLang eerie times, right? So now we've got Kendrick as Dizzlemania, we've got Baby Keem as Booman Eerie on this mood board. But now let's take a look at this other one. Imani, and I don't want to say this wrong. I can't fully read it, but it looks like it might be Homme, Homme. If it's different than that, or if this has been confirmed as something else, like drop it in the comments. Let me know. But point is that Imani is on this mood board, right? And again, this was posted in October of 2023. So again, we've learned, and we know that Imani was signed to pgLang in 2024, but she's been affiliated with them since at least 2023. Right, so that's really telling us that they've been working with Imani for at least 3 years and did not release the album and did not debut her to the world, until 2026. So, full on 3 years. So basically, like, what they were doing, and with these artists here, they're basically they forecasted what they were planning to do with these three artists written in the black cursive handwriting. All right, now here's the crazy part. Let's look over at the left side of the board. You might notice something else written in the same black cursive handwriting style. Now, if we look at the whole photo, these are the only four things written in this style, right? You've got Booman Eerie, you've got Dizzlemania, you've got Imani, and then you've got this fourth one. These are the only four things. Obviously, there's a lot of things on this image, on the board, but these are the only four written in this specific handwriting style. The other three are the three artists signed to pgLang. So what is this fourth one? Now, let's get back to New York. Remember we said that there's a gap for a young superstar? Remember how pgLang just shadow dropped a brand new artist with their debut album out of nowhere? And what is right under the handwriting? It's Ready to Die by Biggie, aka one of the biggest debut albums from a New York rapper in history. I can't really read it. I don't know exactly what this says. If you can read this, or if this has been confirmed somewhere else, if you know what this says, drop it in the comments and let me know. But I think this could be a brand new New York rapper signed to pgLang that they're going to debut. And I think that Imani's debut was a test run for them to see what the response was to a debut like this, and potentially run a similar playbook with this artist.
We're gonna be consistent. We're gonna be here. We're here to stay. Yeah, we're gonna be coming in hot. I can't say too much right now, but we're gonna come in hot, and we're not gonna let up off of heads.
Now, here's some bonus context and kind of like a bonus theory. I think this is definitely a reach, but just for fun. If you remember Control, Kendrick had a line in Control where he said, "I'm Machiavelli's offspring. I'm the king of New York, king of the coast. One hand I juggle them both." Well, look who else is on the mood board and who's damn near in the center of it. So obviously, if they have a young superstar from New York alongside himself and Keem, and they've got Imani on the R&B side, but mainly on the coast side of things, he would literally be king of the coast. So again, I think that's definitely a reach, but just for fun. So yeah, that's a theory. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Let me know if you think this makes sense at all. It probably sounds crazy. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll catch you on the next one.